Good day, everybody. It is Calxiyn and Hunter here, and if you feel more informed after watching this video, you should subscribe for more RWBY videos. Join the Discord server, as that is where people tend to post the news first. Obviously, these videos take a little bit of time to make. We're not, like, up within the first 5 minutes, you know what I'm saying? So you should join the Discord if you want to be notified, and then you can also follow me on my other social media accounts, because I will usually retweet the news before we make a video about it. But I did want to spread this message today, and that's why we're making a video. I think that, like, not everyone uses Twitter, not everybody uses Instagram. Like, this may be people's only social media platform, which is honestly a little bit scary. I can't imagine just being on YouTube.
Even if it's Tumblr, even if it's MySpace, even if you want to put us in your top 8 spaces, please, not just YouTube. Your brain will start hurting.
Anyway, and so we did want to spread the message that Calxiyn posted it on Twitter. And before we get into, like, her actual, like, message about the soundtrack, I do want to go back because... and this makes me very, very upset. So there was an incident, let's just call it that, a couple months ago where somebody had posted the Genius page for the RWBY Volume 8 soundtrack. And if you don't know, Genius is basically like a music site, like you can do like lyric annotations. Yes. So if you like look up Hamilton, for example, they'll be like, this line from Hamilton was also in The Heights. Like, it'll just be like stuff like that, right? It's like that sort of website where you can like community contribute to the meaning of lyrics. And I think it started from mostly like rap and hip hop music, but then it just sort of like expanded, and the RWBY soundtracks are like on there and the community contributes to the meaning of the songs. However, so what happened on the Genius website is that there was a release date basically on the soundtrack, and it said something like June 25th. Well, bitch, okay, I don't know what day it's gonna be when y'all are watching this, but guess what? It's almost July. It probably is July by the time you're all seeing this, so clearly that didn't happen. And so when it happened, I was like, guys, like, why are you believing this? This is the wiki of music, you know? Like, why are you just trusting this random-ass source? Like, if they're going to announce it, they would have announced it, and they would announce it at RTX. Like, that makes the most sense. Like, why are we, you know, getting ahead of ourselves? And they would probably save that, like, for a RWBY panel. Like, that's the only explanation to me that really makes sense, is they're going to have the panel literally in July. Like, if they were going to have it at the end of August, I'd be like, okay, like, yeah, like, the soundtrack usually releases around July or, like, early August, and so you know, in that case, you would just sacrifice the soundtrack and not have it be on the panel. But, like, it didn't make any sense. Like, RTX is literally next week, right? And so it did not make sense. It did not compute. And so I told people, like, stop spreading this. Stop believing this. This is clearly fake. This is clearly misinformation. And I was getting really heated because a lot of, like, accounts had tweeted about it and they wouldn't delete their tweets or, like, correct the misinformation. And I got, like, I don't know. It's just, it really, really bothers me. Not any other YouTubers. I'm not, like, throwing shade. But just, like, people in the community, I guess. And so then, obviously, the 25th happened, and guess the fuck what? Like, nothing happened. And so now, Calxiyn released a statement on the soundtrack. It does say, like, from Jeff at the bottom. And so, hey guys, the following is an important message regarding the RWBY Volume 8 soundtrack from my dad, Jeff Williams. We appreciate your love and patience as we continue to work on the soundtrack, as well as focus on our family. Thank you, and we love you so dearly. Heart. It's June, almost July, and you're wondering when the RWBY Volume 8 soundtrack will be released. Same here. I know you're looking forward to new music, and I can never tell you enough how grateful I am for your interest, your excitement, and your enthusiasm for the release of a new RWBY soundtrack. I'm looking forward to that too, but for now, I've had to put this on the back burner. A member of our immediate family has a very serious medical condition, and that is my focus for now. Please don't believe the lies that people will fabricate and spread regarding this. I'm fine. Calxiyn is fine. We're not having some secret fight with Rooster Teeth. Everything you need to know, I just stated. I've put RWBY music ahead of everything else for almost 10 years now, and I'm very glad I did. But right now, I have to put my family first. I will never look back and think I did the wrong thing with regard to this. I'm working on the music. I have not and will not abandon it, but I'm not giving it any timeline, no predictions, no guesses. The truth about the release date will come from Calxiyn and from Rooster Teeth and nowhere else. My family, Casey, and I deeply appreciate the kind words and positive energy that many of you will send in our direction. We thank you in advance from the bottom of our hearts for that kindness. The next time you hear from me will be in the form of kick-ass music. Jeff. So that is the statement regarding the music. And it's very interesting that they mentioned, like, having some secret fight with Rooster Teeth, because I do wonder if there was, like, some suspicious people posting some untrue information somewhere, because I didn't see that. All I saw was the fake release date. But, like, if somebody said that, I honestly believe it, because people are always trying to make everything like a conspiracy.
With RWBY, because I feel like there's have always been a contingency of RWBY fans or people who have a morbid, hate curiosity with Rooster Teeth that are really invested in the idea that there's constant infighting in there. Like, there's infighting, the company's closing down, RWBY is dying, all of those sorts of things, and a lot of those things are not really well-sourced and based off of nothing but, wild speculation. Yeah, and so I am glad... it's nice that they see that, they're dismantling that. It's nothing wild, it's just we're busy with other, and more important family stuff. Yeah, exactly. And I think that I'm really glad that they made a statement talking about it. At the end of the day, though, here's what really, grinds my gears, okay? They shouldn't have had to, okay? Y'all should have kept it in your fucking pants, in terms of jumping to conclusions about the Genius release date. And I know that that's not the only thing that they're referring to. Obviously, people are speculating beyond that. But I just think that it's, so ridiculous, and I hope the people that were spreading that information feel bad. Because, I get it. If you were told and you didn't know and you thought that Genius was, legit and stuff, that's one thing, right? But, after we all tweet, no, Jeff, says that that's not real, or, no, clearly, Genius is, a crowdsourced website that's probably fake, right? Or, even, some people... It's, an unmoderated Wikipedia article. And so, some people directly, got that info from Jeff. They asked Jeff, and Jeff was LOL. That's not true, right? But then, there's just the idea of why would you trust Genius in the first place? That's what I don't understand. Why did anyone think that this was legit? And I'm not trying to be, pretentious or uppity or trying to look down on people or be condescending. But at the same time, I hope that some people will feel bad, right? Because, look at what they're going through. They're going through a serious family situation, and they had to write this statement because y'all are clowning on Twitter thinking that Music Wikipedia is a source of information for the release date. Can't people just be patient? Can't people just, wait until the RTX panel when, under normal circumstances, it probably would have been announced? Right? And I think there's a lot of, layered, you never know what somebody is going through behind this as well, right? Well, you're oh, they're having a secret fight with Rooster Teeth, or oh, Jeff hates RWBY, he doesn't want to work on the music anymore. I've heard so many people say stuff like that, Jeff wants to quit, or they don't care about the RWBY music anymore, or this or that, and I'm just fuck off, dude. Clearly, you don't know what's going on in their life. There's, something serious happening. Stop bothering people, bro. That's connected to all the other various kind of dramas, and it's based off of wild speculation, not based on any real solid evidence. And you're extrapolating on how it is in Rooster Teeth and how people work together based off of conversations and rooms and discussions that you were not a part of. Yeah, and I just sort of wonder, when are we going to treat content creators and artists as, people? When are we going to treat them as people, unlike, treating them like there's some, TV show drama that you're trying to theorize about and see if you can guess, the answer before it happens, right? You know what I mean? That's fine in fiction, but, this is somebody's real life. Exactly. You know what I mean? This isn't, Loki. This isn't The Mandalorian, okay? You don't need to be oh, what's gonna happen next? Cal doesn't know shows that aren't on Disney Plus, in case you wondered. And so, yeah, it bugs me. Hopefully this is, because, on one hand, I guess I'm sympathetic, because people do care about the music. Of course. And there is a lot of misinformation, and, I think it's rude to, be angry at people for falling for misinformation. Oh, sure. I'm talking only, let me preface this and be very clear. I'm talking about the people that are spreading it knowingly and willfully, okay? Yeah. If after we tell you, you don't care, you know what I mean? If after we're no, this isn't true, you don't delete your tweets and you don't course correct and you don't care, right? I just feel that ultimately, then I get to be mad at you. Yeah. Nobody should be
you know, punished for falling for misinformation. That's why it's misinformation. Like, misinformation, disinformation, all of those things, the goal is to trick people. And, you know, whether it's for more nefarious reasons or clout or whatever, like, that's, you know, that's the thing. So if somebody believed it or, like, spread it not knowing, I think that that's, like, you know, that's fine. But there are clearly people that are just making stuff up, and they know that they're making stuff up, and they know that they're full of shit. Like, where did the date come from in the first place? Like, whoever somehow got the date on the Genius website, like, I don't know if it was just an automatic, like, you know, Google search thing, like, Genius's algorithm just put it there, but, like, if that happened from a person, and that's where it started, it's like, nah, dude, like, you did that on purpose. You didn't know that the soundtrack was coming out, and guess what? It didn't. So clearly, you know what I'm saying?
Hopefully
I'm only saying, like, fuck off to the people that are spreading purposeful misinformation. If you were tricked, like, I'm, you know, like,
shit happens.
Shit happens.
It's a lesson of, like,
we all get tricked sometimes,
it's a lesson
right?
of you need to, you can't always trust community annotated sources like Wikipedia. You need to check your sources like in Wikipedia. And like in Genius, it's a learning experience.
Yeah. I don't mean to get, like, too, like, you know, riled up, but, like, I don't know. I guess it's because, like, we've kind of been on the other end of it. Not with, like, something like this where people are speculating the release date of something.
No one's waiting for our
nobody's
album.
Like, oh, man, like, when's the Calxiyn, like, Little Mermaid video coming out? Like, nobody's, like, doing stuff like that. But just, like, this idea of when content creators kind of lose, like, not necessarily privacy, but just, like, their right to just be a person and, like, have, like, you know, be able to go through situations privately without having to put out all their business because someone is spreading rumors. Because that's really why I see people revealing a lot of stuff about their personal life because they're getting targeted by these rumors, and they're like, but in order to clear up these rumors, I must sacrifice my privacy, and I must, you know, give an explanation that is, like, palatable or that is reasonable to the audience, that the audience will accept, and you shouldn't have to do that, like, you know. And so it sucks. But the soundtrack will come out when it's coming out. There's still a RWBY panel and there's a RWBY Beyond panel. We know that the first episode of the Fairy Tale show is premiering during RTX at some time, right? And so we may get information on a more consistent release date. I'm personally imagining that what will happen is it'll release, like, every week from a certain point up until RWBY. That's what they did with something else worked that way before. We're at, like, they had not, like, maybe it was RWBY Chibi, but they had something, I think it was Camp that, like, aired after RWBY ended and went up until, like, RWBY begun again. It would make sense for the Fairy Tale show to work that way instead of airing simultaneously alongside RWBY, unless, I don't know, I'm just saying. But there's still stuff, is what I'm trying to say. Like, even if we don't get the soundtrack, there's a lot of RWBY shit going on, okay? Go support that stuff, too, because it's cool. And yeah, that is basically it from us, everybody. I hope that you enjoyed this video, or I guess feel informed by this video. I mean, I don't know. I think that we deliver things in a very lighthearted way. I don't think this was a boring news video, you know, so you can enjoy it. You can enjoy the video, even if you don't necessarily enjoy the news. Let us know what you think, all that stuff, and we will see you in the next one. Bye!